The NBA is back, which means Foul Trouble is back. Me and Patrick are going to recap the summer a little bit, but mostly we're here for our predictions. Let's get into Foul Trouble.
Let's go. It was a long offseason, James. I am so glad to be back. How are you doing, my friend? How has the offseason treated you?
It was good up until this morning, Patrick. You know, we tried to record this morning, and then your internet died 5 minutes into it. So
yes, it did. I had some major podcast blue balls after that, but I'm ready just to explode with takes and predictions now.
Yeah, we didn't do a formal goodbye of sorts before the end of our little seance over the summer. But yes, Patrick and I were kind of brainstorming ways to up the pod, trying to maybe thinking of doing like some big video content to go alongside the pods. But now that the NBA season is back, we're cooking on the pods again. And I'm ready for basketball, man. I'm kind of glad. It kind of felt like it went away for a long time after that KD trade. And now I'm ready.
Yeah. I feel like we kind of got spoiled after the Olympic summer that we had with so much basketball. So it's been kind of a nice breather. Like Summer League didn't feel like quite the spectacle that it has been in some years this year.
I feel like now that guys like Cooper Flag are playing only like one game, it kind of ruins Summer League a little bit.
Yeah. But with saying that, next Summer League seems like it's going to be absolutely freaking insane because we have like 4 guys worth a top pick. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with some awards, or do you want to start with just laying down the law with our top 5 contenders? That's what we got on the docket today.
All right, let's do our top 5 contenders. I mean, do you want to start out with the team I know we both have?
Up top?
Yeah, the Thunder.
Yes, sirree. I felt like I had to put the Thunder number 1. Like there was nothing else there. Coming off a championship, I'm pulling up my Thunder notes. Like
I feel like that the Thunder are the most boring championship team ever. There's not a lot to talk about. They're very young. They're very talented defensively. 2 of their supporting cast guys, Jalen Williams and Chet, you could reasonably expect to get better, especially Chet. I honestly thought Chet at times was kind of not holding them back, obviously, because they won the championship. But there were moments where I felt like Chet's decision-making was a little disastrous on the court. And, like, just him getting a year older, more experienced, avoiding some dumb turnovers he had alone is going to make him a better player. You would expect that with age, even if the skills don't, magically get better in a linear progression. J-Dub, I just feel like his consistency, maybe he's close to his ceiling given his athletic profile, but I still feel like odds are he's not getting worse. He's young, and Shea is in the prime of his career. The supporting cast is great. This team can shoot. They've got size with Hartenstein. I mean, they're kind of a flawless team. The only quote-unquote flaw you could even say is that maybe they kind of struggle to guard some of those more like 6'10 forwards, but there's not many of those guys in the NBA, and the ones that are in the NBA are not on teams that have great supporting cast to take on the Thunder. So they're in a great spot.
Yeah, I mean, Shea's 27, Chet's 23 only, and then J-Dub's 24. And just like you said, like, I think functionally they still have the deepest team in the league. There's other teams that are as deep as them, but I don't think they're quite as cohesive. Like I'm thinking like a Rockets. They're very, very deep, but I think they have a little bit more overlap in that all the guys can't like just play together in the way that the Thunder can. I mean, last year you touched on it, historically great defense. They were number 1 in the NBA in defensive field goals, defensive field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, 2-pointers, 2-point percentage, steals, turnovers overall. And then offensively, they just didn't turn over the ball. They were number 1 in the league in offensive turnovers. So, I mean, what I worry about is what we saw in the second round from them. They ran into a big tree named Jokic, and I think that's like Chet is the swing factor of, does this turn into a full-on dynasty, or is this, more of a like Bad Boys Pistons, a team that maybe can win 2 in a row, maybe it's like a 2 out of 5 year championship thing. I think this team probably has another championship in them. The CBAs could make that a little bit more murky. I mean, what do you think the like over under should be on championships for this core right now?
Dude, I would be tempted to jump the gun and say like 2.5, but I'm actually going to go 1.5.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's
because
so damn hard.
This is the last year I think the whole team with, Lou Dort and everything is going to be together. I think Hartenstein, I don't remember if it's a player option or a team option. I think it's a team option.
No, I think this was his team option. Maybe I think this is his last year, probably.
But either way, their extensions. For example, J-Dub is still counting. I think about $8 million against the cap this year. It jumps up with that extension next year. So all of those huge extensions are going to kick in next year. So next year's the year you probably see the weird Thunder trading guys for picks. That you're like, why are they doing that? Like some of those Celtics trades we saw this past summer. So I think that's coming. Also, I mean, it's hard to say with Shea if he's injury prone or not, because there's a lot of speculation that a lot of the injuries he's had early in his Thunder career were like the team intentionally holding him out for tanking purposes. So I guess we're going to find out how real his past injuries may have been if he misses time. He didn't miss a lot of time last year. I think the Thunder were pretty lucky health-wise. Again, I'm not trying to dunk on Chet. I just think his, like the Ringer, I think has him in like the top 30. I don't quite see him in that stratosphere yet, but some people do.
The thing about Chet is what the Thunder ask him to do, they have the luxury to ask him to do such specified things that he doesn't have to be like a super mega star, like look at what San Antonio asks Wemby to do. They ask him to be the sun, the moon, and the stars on defense without the like perimeter, just like hellhounds that the Thunder have, as well as effectively being a like pick and pop guy that is just like a nightmare closeout attacker. Can he be more than that? Can he be the guy that you just kind of roll out the ball and, he's Dirk or like some approximation of that? I don't know. We're probably not going to know this year because he's just not going to have to do that. But we definitely haven't seen it. And then the big knock on Chet, which I think is like super fair, is like, can he stay healthy? Because we haven't seen that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can survive a Chet injury and a J-Dub injury even in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I just think, obviously, they can't survive a Shea injury. One, because Shea is obviously one of the 3 best players in the world, but also, two, Shea is the creator for this team. I feel like when he's not out there, obviously they're still good, but they don't have that same level of creation. And I think against some of the elite teams on a playoff series that could hurt. But I mean, we're picking at the smallest nits here. Like the Thunder, the critique here is, they don't match up well against this one archetype that they're never going to see, and if their best player gets hurt, which applies to every other team. So I think the Thunder are clearly number 1 on the preseason prediction rank. The way the NBA's been, that's how I felt about the Celtics going into last year, how I felt about the Nuggets going into the year before that. So that's what's always hard about this.
We deserve a massive pat on the back, James, because I have listened to a lot of preseason, like just predictions, recap pods. None of them start out with the Thunder, and most of them barely talk about the Thunder at all.
I mean, that's not a lot to talk about. Like, they're just kind of like almost I don't want to say a perfect team, but I heard on some other pods like, they could push 70 wins, and I kind of think they could.
Oh, I have that written down in my notes. We're gonna get there, but yeah, I mean, I think they have 70 win equity written all over them. But it's fun because the Indiana Pacers pushed this team to 7 games. They were pushed to 7 games twice. They're not a perfect team, but I am wondering, James, what team do you have in the second place?
So it's tough. Are we going second place by like how likely I think they are to win the championship?
Yes.
I'm going to go with the Denver Nuggets.
I am too. I have him right there.
I mean, I just think Jokic is the great equalizer. I think, honestly, upgrading from MPJ to Cam Johnson, I don't think Cam Johnson is this great defensive player. I feel like a lot of people kind of think he's this like 3-and-D elite role player who was like stuck on the Nets the last 2 years. I feel like as a Suns fan, you can attest he's an okay 3-point shooter.
He's a team
okay defender. but he's got length, he's got size, he can kind of do a lot of the same things Porter Jr. can. Maybe not as much contested 3-point shooting, but I feel like we're going to get better decision making out of him, probably more drives to the basket. And I think the way Christian Brown fits along this team is good. You know, Aaron Gordon is the 3-point shot for real. It was a lot better last year. I kind of believe that it is. Yeah, he's going to be healthy. I mean, if he was healthy, they might have won Game 7 and won the championship. So I don't know. Again, Denver's kind of like they got that unstoppable 2-man action with Murray and Jokic. I mean, Murray was super up and down, mostly down more than up for I feel like most of last season. Are we going to get a better Murray showing? I don't really see a lot stopping this team from getting the 2 seed. They have the best player in the world.
It's just super refreshing that I think after last offseason and even the offseason before, the whole talk about the Nuggets was they got worse, losing Bruce Brown and Jeff Green, losing KCP, and I think we were all right to ding them on that because once we got to the playoffs, it was really grim. They were playing a lot of Russell Westbrook minutes, and you know what? It was the best option that they had in those minutes, and it weighed down what this team could realistically be. I'm super high on the Cam Johnson for MPJ swap. I'm with you. Like, I don't think that Cam is like he doesn't have the superstar equity that MPJ has, but in a Denver infrastructure, you don't need it. Cam Johnson is much more of a 0.5 player than I think MPJ is.
Yeah, he's like
just quicker on the pass, quicker on the shoot, quicker on the drive.
And I feel like what you're losing in that MPJ's ability to shoot over guys is MPJ's willingness to shoot over guys, which means you're going to get a lot less like 2 of 12 shooting games from that 3 spot, which I think that's the thing. Denver doesn't need superstar performances from anybody other than Jokic and Murray. Like, if those guys do what they do, the role players just need to be competent, and the team is awesome.
Yeah, I pulled up, like, minutes played last season for the Nuggets. 5 of their top 10 guys were Russell Westbrook, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther, DeAndre Jordan, and Jalen Pickett. And we're replacing that with Bruce Brown, who we've seen succeed in a Jokic offense. Jonas Valanciunas, who, I mean, how fun is it going to be to see double big lineups with Jokic again that like actually work, maybe even triple big lineups if you're really feeling frisky as well. And then also you're getting Tim Hardaway Jr. in there. And swapping that out for Dario Saric, we're also going to get more Christian Brown, who just completely popped last season. Day'Ron Holmes, who I was really high on in the draft 2 years ago. They just got so much bigger. They got better at shooting. I think more trusted ball handling and ball moving in a Jokic offense. I am super, super high on this team.
Yeah, I like the Nuggets a lot. I mean, again, they're kind of like the Thunder. Well, there's not a lot to say about them. I don't have a lot of concerns. I actually have no concerns.
Yeah, neither do I. I think even their floor is so high, just like the Thunder, in that, like, you know, even without Murray, you're thinking they're still probably going to be a top 6 seed. Without Cam Johnson, they're still probably going to be a top 6 seed. Other than a Jokic injury, I don't really see where the downside for this team is.
All right, where are you going with your number 3 pick? We have 2 West teams. I mean, that's because we think the winner of the championship will be whoever wins the Western Conference playoffs. Is that how you're feeling? Is that definitely how I'm feeling?
Yeah, that's definitely how I'm feeling. I think there's a chance that the champion could come out of the East, but I think a lot of chaos would have to happen. And I'm not a betting man, but I wouldn't bet on it. But my 3rd team is coming out of the Eastern Conference, and it's the New York Knicks.
That's who I had at number 3 too. I have a feeling, Patrick, we're gonna have the same top 4, but I don't know if that 5 will be the same.
Number 5 is a really
I have a dark horse.
Okay, I'm really interested. Yes, stay tuned in to hear who that number 5 team is, everybody. This would be a great place to put a break. But I got the Knicks. I mean, I love the Mike Brown edition. Just like a vet, we're gonna get a lot more ball movement. I think the Knicks are gonna be more of kind of spamming. I'm spamming that 0.5 mentality, but just like kind of grabbing motion from the Warrior system, but not making it so egalitarian. I trust him to keep the ball in Jalen Brunson's hands the way we saw him play through his stars in Sacramento, in Sabonis and Fox. I think Mike Brown really set both of them up to succeed. I'm really excited to see what he does with the Cat Brunson pick and roll. At the same time, a full season of Mitchell Robinson, a full the additions of Jordan Clarkson, the addition of Gershon Yabusele, another season with Mikal Bridges, another season with OG Anunoby. I don't know that this Knicks team is necessarily going to be the number one seed in the East, but the scoring that we've seen from Jalen Brunson over the last couple postseasons is really unlike pretty much any guard scoring we've ever seen. I don't feel that there's any
other than another guy in the East we're going to talk about, I think, next. Yeah.
But I mean, just like in general, like we don't see it very often. And I know we're in a juice ball era for guard scoring in the playoffs, but he's so small, he's so effective, he's so hard-nosed. And I think there is a defensive juggernaut in the Knicks that we didn't see last year during the regular season. We saw flashes of it in the postseason. But I really think there's a chance that they could bring this all together and we see one of the best Knicks teams maybe since the 70s. Like, I think they could surpass, those 90s Knicks teams and any of the Knicks teams that we've seen in the, early 2020s. And
you didn't mention McBride's going to get more minutes finally. I feel like he deserves way more minutes. I mean, last year, Thibodeau's playing these guys when there's a blowout. Like the minutes merchant is gone. We're getting a I don't want to say Tibbs isn't a real coach, but we're getting like a functional coach in the building who knows, hey, we don't need to play Jalen Brunson 48 minutes a game in the regular season.
He's going to set them up for long-term, like season-long success instead of like, daily success. Is not all about like just the single game that they're playing in.
And I think part of my view on this team, honestly, Patrick, is I think part of the championship equity this team holds is also being maybe the favorite for Giannis.
Oh, that's interesting. What's your take on the Giannis situation?
I think he's going to get traded. It seems kind of obvious. The writing's on the wall.
But mid-season, you think that's
I mean,
thing?
Let's play this out. Let's say Milwaukee. It's February 1st, and in Milwaukee, you're the 6th seed. You're not in the play-in. You're in the playoff, but you're the 6th seed, and the Cavaliers have a 15-game. I think that Cavs are, spoiler pick, my fourth team. I don't know your fourth team. I think they're going to be the number one seed. I still like the Knicks better as a playoff team. I think the Cavs are going to run away with the 1 seed in the East. Cleveland are they going to have a 17-game lead at the break?
Well, I think the Knicks could have a 17-game lead on the third place team, to be honest.
I don't, but my third place team is my fifth team is in the East. But
no way. Okay.
Yeah. No, but the Bucks though, how big of a lead does Cleveland or New York have to have on you, or even the 4 seed, like whoever the 4 seed is? Let's say the 4 seed is I don't know, the Magic. Like, how, if the Magic are 8 or 9 games ahead of you, are you what are you doing if you're Milwaukee? Are you going to try to load up, or are you going to just face reality? Because the East is so weak, they could be a 6 seed and be like 500.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're not going to talk very much about the Bucks and their outlook in the Eastern Conference, but when we do later on in this season, I am not high on the Bucks at all. I think their ceiling is really a play-in team, and that's in a battered East. I just think their roster from the guard position is so weak. And there's only so much Giannis can do, like he's not your primary initiator. There's no shooting around him.
What did you think of the GMs calling Giannis the most versatile player in the league? I vehemently disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, in a world with Nikola Jokic, that's pretty insane.
I just figure like
you can only
in a world
play
with
in one
Victor
way.
Wembanyama, right? Like
yeah, that too.
like, I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. I'm always a little suspect at the idea that these super mega trades are going to go down mid-season, but it does seem like Giannis is kind of priming for that, especially with his comments at Media Day.
I feel like the Knicks almost are in this weird position where if the Bucks are really bad, they can almost bank on making Giannis trade. They have a Wizards pick in their arsenal. They've got the salaries to match. They've got they could probably throw in Miles McBride, who's not the youngest, but at least something for the Bucks alongside draft picks and whatever good player they ship out to match the salaries. And I don't know. I mean, it's just like a lot of the teams that have the assets are the Rockets. Okay, well, the Rockets really their main need this season is going to be guards. I mean, Giannis is great. Sure, he's 30. I think the Rockets would probably rather trade for a win-now guard if I'm them with Van Vliet's ACL tear.
I don't think he's going to Houston.
If I'm the Spurs, I don't know. I mean, I think the Spurs will do a Fox trade at some point or a Castle trade. I think one of those guards who's not Harper is gone. Which one will it be? What will it be for? I just don't think it's going to be for Giannis. Maybe. And the Thunder, I just don't see the Thunder making the trade. I don't think the trade is as easy to make unless it's just the Thunder throwing 10 draft picks at them because you can't match J-Dub's salary this year.
The team that makes the most sense for me, though, is not the New York Knicks. The team that makes the most sense for Giannis, for me, is the Los Angeles Lakers. You can cobble together enough of those mid-range contracts in Rui Hachimura, in an Austin Reeves, and give enough young player and pick value that you could get him in the door. And I don't think that, I don't know. I have a hard time imagining, sure, if the Knicks are are struggling midseason, maybe it could happen. But if they're the 1-2 seed, do you really want to mess with that chemistry to bring in a Giannis? Especially when, what have we learned these last couple of seasons other than, depth leads to championships?
That's true. I mean, I guess I'm just viewing it as if the Bucks want to do Giannis a favor because it seemed, didn't that leak out? He only wanted to go to the Knicks, or they had talks with the Knicks.
Yeah, there was only talks with the Knicks.
I'm just gonna file that away. I think the only thing, and we're not gonna talk about the Lakers in this, but I think for them, if you lose Rui, Reeves, and everything, I don't know if you can. Luka, LeBron, Giannis is crazy, but what is the shooting around those guys if you get rid of Rui and Reeves?
But you know what? We can talk about the Lakers a little bit. I think this season is kind of just like another
have fun with it.
Yeah, it's just hey, LeBron has sciatica and Luka's on our team now. Let's figure out what the future is.
Let's talk about the number 4 team. We'll tag back to the Lakers later. I'm sure they'll come up in some future discussion. But we both have the Cleveland Cavaliers, who we both think are the second most likely team to win the Eastern Conference.
So they lost in 5 games to the Indiana Pacers in the second round. Once again, just a
lot
really
of injuries.
Disappointing. Yeah, a lot of ticky-tack injuries. Their guys were there, but they weren't there. It was one game you'd have Donovan Mitchell, one game you wouldn't have Evan Mobley. They swap out Ty Jerome and Lonzo Ball. Larry Nance Jr. is back. Isaac Okoro is gone. A full season with DeAndre Hunter. I kind of struggle what to make of this team from a championship equity standpoint.
I think the thing this team needs to address is just why does Jared Allen seem to suck so much in the playoffs?
Yeah. He's so good in the regular season.
I don't get it. But you know what I do get? Donovan Mitchell is really good. I think he's every good as Brunson is. I honestly think he could be I think Donovan Mitchell's a little bit better overall of a player than Jalen Brunson is. I think he's a better playmaker, and I think he's a better three-point shooter off the dribble. So But I mean, I don't know. It comes down to health. This team hasn't been healthy. I feel like Jared Allen just kind of underperforming in the playoffs is a huge red flag. And I think, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you want to talk about crazy wild Laker trades, Patrick, you could match his salary and LeBron's, bring the king home, and have a spaced out lineup, and give Luka a lob partner. But,
that's true. That's true. I mean, hey, Darius Garland, that's a clutch guy right there. I think Darius Garland would be an incredible fit with Luka. And let's be honest, Darius Garland is awesome, but he's another huge problem for this team as well. Like, there's something about their guards cannot coexist on defense, and their bigs cannot coexist on offense. Everybody was always like salivating over the Evan Mobley. He's gonna shoot. It's gonna fix everything. He did. He shot almost 4 threes a game in the playoffs at a 45% clip, and they lost in 5 games.
Okay, let's caveat though. They were injured. Like Garland missed, I think, the first 2 games. One of the bigs missed a couple of the games. So when they came back, they're not 100%. I think we need a caveat, and there's a reason why this team is so dominant in the regular season. And I do think it is because for all the flaws they have in the roster construction, at the end of the day, it's skilled bigs with a lot of space.
Yeah.
And that's a recipe for success. And not most teams can either have skilled bigs, not enough space, maybe like the Mavericks before Kyrie comes back is an example of that, or dynamic guards without, the bigs, maybe like a Charlotte Hornets, for example, with LaMelo, but, not a lot going on down low right now. This team kind of has that perfect...
Diabate, bro.
Yeah, but I think it's really nice though that this team can bring in Lonzo Ball. Now Lonzo Ball's health, it kind of fits right up there with Garland's health. Does it exist? I don't know. But I do think if this team can stay healthy, they can fight with the Knicks. I just think the Knicks are going to be able to, over the course of a longer series, kind of win on the wings quite a bit. I think, as good defensively as Mobley is, Towns has to be guarded out on the perimeter, so either one of Allen or Mobley's going to be on him, and if it's those single big lineups, the Knicks can space you out. Brunson can get to the hoop. The same. I think if Mobley's going to be able to shoot the 3, Cleveland can do the same thing. I still think those teams are going to kind of grind each other down. I like the Knicks a little bit more in a longer
especially in the
setting.
in the 1-to-1 matchup. I think the Knicks can play Cleveland's game. They can play the double big game, and I just think they have a little bit more optionality in if they want to play full 5 out around Cat, they can do that for a couple possessions. I don't think they really have anyone to throw at Brunson to slow him down. And you can offset that scoring, but the Knicks kind of have the 2 perfect guys to throw at their guards, which
How would you feel if Cleveland did like a Suggs for Garland swap of some sort?
I would love that.
And Magic gets their spacing guy. Cleveland gets a way better defensive, bigger guard. It might hurt Cleveland's offense a lot, but I kind of think if you've got Mobley, you got Mitchell, and you have another shooter out there, like you've got a good offense. Like Mitchell's proven he's a bona fide playoff scorer.
Yeah,
to me, I'd feel confident
I would
being like, you know what, Mitchell, we're going to surround you with more defensive guys, and you just cook. Like, I honestly think he brings you a high enough floor on offense that you can live with that.
Yeah, the other thing that I'm really looking for, I really enjoyed about Cleveland in the second half of the year is the addition of DeAndre Hunter. I think he fit in like a glove into that system, and just like more time there, sopping up those Isaac Okoro minutes as well is going to help Cleveland. We're being a little pessimistic, but at the end of the day, there's their top 4 with a bullet. They can go head to head with not only every team in the East, but I think just about every team in the league, and they're going to give them a series at least. And Cleveland fans should expect championship from this team. That should be the expectation.
I think anything short of the ECF is a disappointment for this team.
Oh, yeah, totally.
If you lose at 6 or 7, I think you would be disappointed, but I wouldn't consider that a disaster season.
Okay. Enough of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Our number 5 spot on our top 5 contenders going into the season. who did you consider for this?
Well, before the Van Vliet injury, I had the Rockets.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm kind of shut off from a lot of West teams because I do think the Thunder and the T-Wolves are better than a lot of those. Or not the T-Wolves, the Thunder and the Nuggets. Maybe the T-Wolves have that weird edge over the Nuggets. I already know what it looks like when they play the Thunder around later. They get killed. So I don't see it with the other West teams. The thing with the Lakers that I think if you're going to go like Luka, LeBron are awesome. I'm worried because DeAndre Ayton, one, we've seen the issues with all the teams he's been on with motivation issues. And two, even if, let's say, you get the best version of Ayton that we saw with the Suns, where for 2-week stretches he looks like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar before he goes back to being DeAndre Ayton again. As a Suns fan, it looks like he plays only 50 to 60 games a year.
Yeah.
If those
misses ticky-tack foul. The other thing I'm worried about, I looked at the Lakers for this because they do have a top 3 player in the league and LeBron James, but I'm really, really worried about their point of attack defense. I was before we had preseason basketball, and then announcing that their big point of attack addition in Marcus Smart isn't good enough to be in
Marcus
your starting lineup, which I'm not surprised by.
Can't shoot the 3 well enough to be a reliable guy off the. But you know what? I will say this is the Lakers' upside scenario, and like my Knicks' upside scenario, it depends on the Bucks sucking. Because if the Bucks, again, Patrick, if they're bad at the trade deadline, can the Lakers pull off the Miles Turner trade finally?
Oh my God,
that's the guy I think they should trade for. Give up less stuff.
Think about that. That's
keep Rui. He's been a reliable enough shooter off the ball, closeout attacker. If you bring in Miles Turner and all of a sudden DeAndre Ayton's the backup big, I kind of love the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean that's not bad. I think the Lakers are going to be a good team. They're going to be a playoff team, but there's definitely a reason why they were swept, or maybe five gentlemen sweep.
But who's your 5 team? It's not the Lakers.
So it's not the Lakers. I did consider all those teams. I considered heavily the Timberwolves. I almost put them there. You know, it's not easy to go to the conference finals 2 years in a row, let alone the Western Conference Finals in this NBA. I'm a little sussed out mainly by their guard situation. We saw what that was like with Mike Conley at the end of last season. He's kind of fallen off a cliff, and I am not a believer in the Rob Dillingham experience just yet. I literally went to sleep last night with a different team than I have right now. Last night I went to sleep with all these notes on the Golden State Warriors because I just think they're going to be a damn good team. They have a lot. Kuminga, Horford, Melton, Payton, Curry, Post, Moody, Hield, Green, Jackson Davis, Podziemski, and Jimmy Butler. They have so many just like capital N NBA players. And they were just really, really good before all their injuries in the playoffs last year. Not only did Steph get injured, which we all remember, but Jimmy Butler also had that weird pelvis glute contusion thing in the first round. But I ended up going with the Rockets. I think they're so different, and we've seen them succeed to a certain level against a really good Warriors team that I believe in. I'm nervous about the Fred VanVleet injury. I definitely am. I wonder if they have enough shooting. I'm worried about their ball movement. This was a team last year that was last place in passes per game, and they're swapping out Fred VanVleet with a guard in Amen Thompson, who I love. I've been as high as anyone on him. And they're swapping him out with someone, and he's not going to be guarded at half court. But I think obviously Kevin Durant is a huge upgrade over Jalen Green. I'm a little worried about their shooting, but I think they are embracing the new NBA they're not quite as worried about points per shot attempt. they're worried about points per possession. Which I really like. It makes sense. And they are going to be badasses on the boards this year. I think their upside is super high. Their downside is pretty low. I'm getting a little bit. What was that year where the Sixers got Al Horford?
The 21.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of 21 Sixers vibes, but I think they'll be better than that. But I went with the Rockets.
I actually think the downside is pretty high. Like I don't really see a scenario where this team is bad in any way. I'm just worried the shooting is really going to bite them. I love that Amen Thompson's getting his on-ball reps now, but it's like you're losing guys like Dylan Brooks, not like lights out shooter, but I don't know.
Yes,
man.
lights out shooter. 39%.
Okay, lights out shooter. But that's the thing. You got Amen with the ball. It's like Durant. It's like Tari Eason. It's Sengun. It's I don't know. And Jabari Smith Jr., who I feel like has been more of a theoretical shooter than an actual shooter when I watch Rockets games, like whatever the numbers say. I'm just worried that you're going to see Durant's issues getting to the basket, which somehow got a little bit better, I felt like, while he was with the Suns.
A little bit, yeah.
But I feel like he's going to kind of go back to like where he was before then, where he stopped going to the basket whatsoever. And if
there's
Durant's
not going to be any room.
There's not going to be any room to get there, even if he wanted to. And I think that whole issue that he had in Phoenix, where it's like, hey, Durant, please shoot more threes. Stop stepping in for these 12-footers. They're great that you make them at such a high clip. We love it. But can you give Amen some space? They're
going to force him. Sengun and Adams are going to be standing there. So he's just going to be forced.
And this is the problem with Durant is he's just not a great playmaker. He's such a reactive playmaker instead of a proactive one. And I think teams are going to be really happy to let the Rockets funnel the ball to KD and try to make plays because he's not always going to see Amen on those cuts. He's not always going to find guys. And I think teams are going to be like, you know what? Let's let Durant shoot it 30 times. Even if he goes 15 to 30, we don't care.
So here's a nightmare stat for Rockets fans. And I picked them as number 5. But so Brooks, Green, and Van Vliet, in losing those 3, they are losing 22 3-point attempts a game. And it's like hard to imagine how they're replacing that.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know Van Vliet has his issues. Like, I think Van Vliet is like one of those weird players who shoots worse from 2 than 3, but that's because he's so good of a 3-point shooter, and he can shoot it, running a pick and roll. He can shoot it from deep. He gave them so much space, and I know Van Vliet's not perfect. I'm sure, people could have their nitpicks with him, but I felt like he was a great fit and a great part of what made that team fun to watch and great. And again, I'm really happy to see Amen with the ball more, but I wanted it to be with Brooks and with Van Vliet on next to him,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, the upside is just,
high.
It's so high.
And I think the Rockets are going to be awesome. Like, I don't see a world where they're a bad team. I don't.
My
can't
downside
a bad side
that I'm talking about is more a playoff downside in that the ball, once you get to the playoffs and we get more into the half court, there's just like the scoring falls through the floor, which it did last year for them. They scored 85, 109, 93, 106, like 131 in game 5. But like, if they can consistently live around like 115 in the playoffs, like they're going to go to the Western Conference Finals. They're going to threaten to go all the way through. They have all of the elements that would make it hard for a Thunder to beat them. They have all of the people they need to guard a Jokic, but I don't know if they have the firepower to score what they need to score.
And again, if I'm going to talk about teams with high trade upside, which I think the Rockets fit perfectly into, I mean, again, Fox is not a great shooter, and he's maybe a little bit overlap with Amen, but is he a potential Fox spot? Is he a potential spot for a guard on one of these teams if the Hawks season completely falls apart? I feel like insulating Trae Young with that defensive infrastructure could be great. I don't think you'd want to trade for a guy like LaMelo, but if you're Ime Udoka, you might be the best coach ever for LaMelo. I just feel like they have the assets to make the guard trade happen, that they can fix some of their problems with, and I love that for the Rockets. I'm super high on the Rockets. I had to have an East team in my 5 spot because to have a West team means I think this team has a chance of beating Denver or the Nuggets. Or Denver or the Thunder. It's been a while.
Yeah, totally understand that. So who did you choose? Did you choose the Bulls? I see your hat.
I chose the Chicago Bulls. I think no. Patrick, I chose a team with a guy who feels really good about going into New York and winning.
Oh, who is that?
I chose a team that gets 12 games against the Hornets, the Heat, and the Wizards.
Did you?
I chose the Atlanta Hawks.
The Atlanta Hawks. You absolute madman. Okay.
All right, so I think the Hawks are going to be the 3 seed in the East. I think if someone said the Pacers were your number 2 championship equity team last year, you'd laugh them out of the building. Mm-hmm. The Hawks have already made an Eastern Conference Finals run where they took the Bucks to 6.
Yes, they did.
I think Trae Young has this kind of awesome team around him, and I think if Porzingis is healthy, they get 48 minutes of Porzingis and Okongwu, and I'm not as high on Okongwu as other people, but like as your backup big, I kind of like that. I think you got, Risha Shea, I think was so underhyped, people kind of are underrating him. He's a pretty good NBA player. If he can take a leap, become even better at attacking closeouts, have a more consistent three-point shot, maybe some more on-ball duty. Trae Young showed last year he's willing to play a little bit more off the ball. I think the Hawks are ready to be a serious team and kind of kick some ass in an Eastern Conference that's super weak.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I definitely have the Hawks as like a top half of the playoffs, Eastern Conference playoff team. The Hawks just scare me. I feel like there's a lot of disaster potential around the Hawks.
Porzingis gets hurt, and now
Porzingis gets hurt. Dyson Daniels, like the carriage turns into the pumpkin, and he realizes he's a maid once again. Zachary Richese, who knows like what we get out of him. Nickeil Alexander-Walker isn't as good when he's not surrounded by Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards. But Jalen Johnson gets hurt like he does every year. But like I see it. The pieces are all there. They have an amazing coach. They have the bigs. They have the guards. I mean, Trae Young is a certified badass.
I can just picture if it's like a Knicks are the 2, Hawks are the 3, it's like game 1 in the Garden and Trae Young, you're just like, he's going to go in there and do some sick shit. Like, I'm sorry, Knicks fans, you don't want to see the Hawks game 1, round 2. You don't.
It's just pick and roll at Cat every single play.
Every time, over and over again, and you've got Daniels harassing Brunson, and you've got Okongwu doing switchable stuff every time the Knicks run their pick. And I don't know, man. I kind of just think the Hawks, I still like the Cavs and the Knicks more than them, especially given the regular season seeding and everything. But I just feel like the Hawks, I said it last year, I feel like they play this brand of basketball where they can kind of beat anybody and like lose to anybody.
Yeah. No, they've always been like that. How many series have we seen where Trae Young just like forces a game 6 against the Celtics and it's like
for no reason? Yeah.
Yeah. Why is this happening? A guy that I didn't think, we're going to talk about awards in a second, a guy I didn't think about at all for most improved that I feel like in this scenario could really put his hat in the ring. Jalen Johnson, it's a name that I think casuals don't really know about just because he hasn't been available. But when he plays, he's that prototypical, scoring wing that plays good defense, knows how to be a role player. You're talking me into it.
I mean, and the big thing behind the pick is the East is weak.
Yeah, the East.
I mean, what if Donovan Mitchell gets hurt and Jalen Brunson isn't fully hurt, but he's playing on a bum knee? Like,
and the Magic are still all injured, and the Celtics suck.
The Magic can't shoot. Back. Yeah, like there's a world where there's totally a world where we are in May, and you're like, oh, asterisk finals run, like. Whatever people say, like put an asterisk on it. They made it to the finals. Everyone's hurt. Okay, they still made it to the finals. So that's why I kind of like the Hawks because there's not a lot preventing the Magic or the Hawks from making a run to the finals, even if they themselves are not that good.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think that's why I like another team in the East. Like
Hawks are the 2 seed. They have to play let's say the Bulls in the first round, sweep the Bulls. Second round, they play the Cavs. The Cavs just melt down in the playoffs once again. They've just fallen face first in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then, like you said, anything can happen. Trae Young just eats the Big Apple and it's done. They're in the finals.
If I'm the Hawks and I show up to the finals and I see the Thunder, I might just wave the white flag, but...
Oh, my God. Can you imagine the Thunder defending Trae Young in the finals? That it would be like an all-time fraud watch series.
Yeah, I'm just picturing Lou Dort, just frustrating Trae Young to no end. And I'm also just picturing it being me and you are sitting here and we're like, well, they could put Dyson Daniels on Shea, and then it's game 1 and Shea just cooks him for 35 because it doesn't matter who you put on Shea. Yeah.
Drop 60.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I missed this, James. We're back.
I know.
Okay. Top 5, we've got them out. We've talked about a bunch of teams. Of course, we got Lakers in there. We got some Bucks talk in there. But
we got so recapping. We both have the Thunder. We both have the Nuggets. We both have the Cavs. We both have the Knicks. You have the red team of the West. I have the red team of the East, and that's just how it's gonna go.
Yes, it is. Yeah, Rockets and Hawks right there. We don't have to spend too much time on, or you know what? Let's do finals matchups and our finals predictions right now before we jump into awards. Who do you have winning the Eastern Conference, James?
I have the Knicks.
I also have the Knicks. And who do you have winning the Western Conference?
I have the Nuggets.
I also have... Dang it!
I think it's going to be Nuggets over Knicks in 5.
Okay. Yeah, I'm right there. I was thinking 6, but it just feels like Jokic's time to take back the crown.
It doesn't feel right that he only has 1 ring. He's by far the best player. In a league where we have guys like Shea and Luka and Giannis who are just in Wemby now, super incredible guys, all-time players, and I still think Jokic is head over shoulders the best player. I think just speaks volumes how good he is.
I mean, something that I kind of chuckled at myself. Do you know the last time the Nuggets lost a series with both Jokic and Murray in less than 7 games?
Has it ever happened?
2020 Lakers.
Wow.
That was the last time.
Wow.
And, that's a great team. I don't know exactly where that ranks in the teams of the 2020s.
I think if Murray never got hurt, the Nuggets already would have won multiple chips.
Yeah. I mean, I think 2021 felt like that year. Definitely 2022.
Yeah.
Oh,
the year they traded for Gordon.
Yeah. 2021 would have been so awesome. That Bucks team versus a loaded up
that would have been
Nuggets
a lot of fun.
team. We were robbed. Okay, well,
okay. Can I ask about one team because I'm obligated to as this guy's residential fanboy?
Yes, absolutely.
In a world where the Cavs have another Cavaliers injury plagued postseason, and the Knicks are hobbled. It seems like the Knicks are always hobbled by the end of the playoffs too. Can Philly do it?
Dude, I kind of like them. It's you couldn't put them on the list we just made, but they too have just say what you will about Paul George, say what you will about Kyle Lowry. They have NBA players, and a lot of them.
All right, I have a question. Are they a team where, let's say Paul George comes in and he's averaging 14. He's not a bad player anymore, but he's clearly a role player on this horrible contract. And
he doesn't have to be a star.
He doesn't have to be, but what I'm wondering is, let's say McCain comes back and he's awesome, and Edgecombe is awesome. Can they package McCain and Paul George? Does McCain, if he's good, does his value offset the negative value of George's contract, and they can get a more serviceable forward?
Is this a Devin Booker trade? Is that what
that was not what I was thinking, but that would be
I'm going to need Edgecombe as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Sixers and Embiid's healthy through 50 games, if he's played 42 of 50 and he's thin, he's looked in that preseason game, I would make that trade if I'm the Sixers. I mean, why not?
Yeah,
this is the year. I feel like every year for the last 7 years, it's been like this is the year for the Sixers. But truly, the East is so bad this year. Like, I am tempted to say it could be another crazy team that no one sees coming.
Yeah, I mean, they have a great coach. They have a young core, and they have like the vets to indicate that they can win at that level, at least in the regular season. And even last time we saw Embiid in the playoffs, he was pretty awesome, and he was playing on like one leg. Yeah, I mean, I can see it, dude. It's so crazy to say. And I think Edgecombe is just a freaking monster. Like, I cannot wait to see him playing next to Maxey, because I think he's just kind of perfect to go next to him.
Yeah, it's just tough because I feel like those two are meant to play on some really high-paced team in Embiid. Although maybe that's why Embiid lost some weight. Maybe he's ready to embrace some more pace and space Sixers.
They should just go 4-on-5 on defense. Let Embiid cherry pick.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to our MVPs.
Yep. Well, I feel like you
spoiled
know
it.
Yeah.
I have Jokic.
I do too. And this will put him with LeBron, Wilt, who both have 4, Russell with 5, MJ with 5, and Kareem with 6. I feel like he doesn't have enough at this point.
If there is a narrative MVP that overtakes him, I think it's going to be Luka. I think the Lakers probably can't. They are not. I kind of don't see them being the 3 seed again. But maybe. I mean, they could be the 3 seed again.
Yeah, it's
the West was great last year. Like, the West was great. They still got it last year. I think they're going to get a much better version of Luka this year.
If I wanted to put my money on one long shot that is not Victor Wembanyama, which, like, who just put that aside, who freaking knows what's going on with Victor Wembanyama? Looking at his stats from last year, it's kind of crazy that Anthony Edwards wasn't more in the discussion for that. I think if the Timberwolves somehow found themselves as like the 1 or 2 seed in the Western Conference, Ant could put himself there just with his ISO defense prowess, and then just the way the dude shot the ball last year was absolutely
led the league
insane.
In threes.
That still feels kind of under the radar to me, but at the same time, like, we're both saying that the Thunder are gonna win 70 games. It would be completely unprecedented for a 70-win team for their best player not to win MVP, which hypothetically Shea would be right there. But, you know, if Denver has 65 wins, what's 5 games if, you know, he's averaging 30, 15, and 12?
Shea was a very deserving MVP last year. I felt like even the Shea voters were like, well, you know, Jokic is the best player, and, you know, when you add up everything Jokic does, it's a lot more impressive, but I'm going to give it to Shea. So I think Shea got his MVP. No shade on Shea. It was an MVP season, but Jokic is the best offensive player of all time. So
I mean,
I think it's his award to lose every year for like the next 6 years. Even when Wemby hits his peak, I still think it's his to lose.
The thing about Shea is his season last year was the best guard offensive season of all time, like, pretty much statistically. So it's like, you know, like, Steph's right there with his season. There's a couple of MJ seasons that are right there. But, like, if he doesn't top that, how do you give him the MVP again? You know, if Jokic just does what he did.
Jokic stuff. Yeah. Okay, Rookie of the Year.
This one's boring. How could it not be Coop?
It could not be Coop because no, it's going to be Coop. I mean, the problem is it just feels like Cooper's jump shot. I think if you were to be like a Cooper hater, you'd say like, well, he's going to play the 3 instead of the 4, and he's going to be on the perimeter more, and he's going to be shooting more. I don't know. I think the Mavs, especially if Cooper is as good as he's billed and his playmaking chops are up for it, like, there's no reason the Mavs also won't be an awesome team.
Yeah, they have so many good players. I guess the scenario that I imagine in which Cooper Flagg doesn't win Rookie of the Year is what I like to call the Jeremy Sohan scenario, where they're asking Cooper Flagg to play point guard in the same sense that Pop asked Jeremy Sohan to play point guard, and it was just way too early and in his offensive development, let alone the fact that the dude's just not a point guard.
I just Obviously, think Cooper's too good for that to even be an issue. That? Yeah, do you remember we talked a lot about the Sohan experiment because it would really bother me a lot. Wemby would be cutting to the basket with his hand up like he was Randy Moss, and Sohan just wouldn't see him. I just don't think if you put Coop on that Spurs team a few years ago, it'd be a disaster like that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what happens when, like, you know, they're 25th in offensive rating and, like, they just can't score the ball because the
spacing?
Yeah, the spacing.
Well, in that world, I think Ace could definitely win Rookie of the Year. I think Ace. I don't want to go too high on preseason. The guy shot over 50%, and I don't think he's going to do that as a rookie with his shot diet. But he might average 18 on like 44% shooting, and a lot of it will be self-creation. There's going to be a lot of wow plays where people are like, "Holy shit, this Ace guy's as good as Cooper," which he's not, but people might say that. But I don't know. I kind of think Cooper's almost too good. And I think Cooper's going to have like a 3 assist. Like he'll average 3 or 4 more assists per game than Ace will. I think Harper won't get enough scoring opportunities. And I don't think anyone else in the class is kind of on the level of those guys.
My one other guy other than those two is Trey Johnson. Like, I don't know if you caught any Summer League Trey Johnson, but like, this guy is an unbelievable scorer. Like, he's just a whole nother level kind of ISO scorer. And it's going to be weird on the Wizards. Like, there's a lot of positional overlap with the vets there in, like, CJ and stuff. I don't know how much Chris Middleton is going to, like, eat up things. Koulibaly's kind of there positionally. But if they just kind of, like, are like, you're our guy, Trey. You're going to be our number one option with a bullet, kind of like a young Devin Booker kind of thing. I could see him putting himself in the conversation because he's averaging like 23 points a night. Not necessarily efficiently, but he's doing it. And he has some 50-point outburst at some point in the season.
Yeah. I you know what, though, with the Mavs, because I've been bringing this up with a lot of teams, they're another team where they could make a trade for a guard. Like, Daniel Gafford is awesome. He should be on a team that's going to play him more than this team will play him. Coop gives you the versatility to slide AD to the 5. You already have Lively. I mean, why not trade Gafford for a good guard and get the season? I mean, honestly, if Coop is all that and AD's healthy and Lively's just that good of a rim protector, like, why can't this team contend for the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And Kyrie will be back. He will be back before
That's why I think Cooper is gonna kind of take it, especially because I think he's only gonna get better when Kyrie gets back. And I do think, like, if the season's that off the rails, like, they'll make a Gafford trade and they'll bring in a guy who can space the floor.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about Cooper Flagg is, like, we've talked about, Chet and Wemby and, like, the duality of their responsibilities. I think Coop's responsibilities are going to be a lot more like Chet's responsibilities in that once Kyrie is back, he's going to be asked to do a lot less. It's going to be very straightforward. He's going to have to score in spurts, but, like, really he's going to be a defensive monster. And if his jump shot's going that day, they're going to feed him. If it's not, that's okay. We've got plenty of other, people we can turn to if we're the Mavericks.
Yeah, I just think the only way Ace can overtake him is if he averages like 23 points. If he's averaging like 8 more points a game.
Yeah.
The efficiency just won't be comparable. I think even if there's spacing issues, Coop's going to shoot the ball at like 3 or 4% higher true shooting.
Yeah, whoever
I think it's
going to
be really hard. Yeah,
they're going to need like a 50-point game in like the first 2 weeks of the season.
Get their name on the map.
Everyone's like, oh, remember when they scored 50 points before I stopped paying attention to the league until after the All-Star break?
Okay, so let's go Defensive Player of the Year, which I feel like the last couple of years has been the I don't know, I'll give it to this guy, I'll give it to this guy, I'll give it to this guy. Oh, Draymond Green says he should be Defensive Player of the Year, so I guess he'll just win it now. I don't know.
I mean, it's Big's struggle to play 65 games is the thing. Most of the time, it kind of should go to a big, and that's why I'm giving it to Victor Wembanyama. We'll see if he can play that 65 games, but I'm going to give it to Victor Wembanyama. If we do this podcast, James, for 8 years, I'm probably going to give it to Victor Wembanyama every single one of the next 8 years. And the only reason he's not going to win is because he doesn't play 65 games.
Yeah, I mean, all right, I'll do the contrarian pick in the world where Wemby doesn't play 65 games and say Anthony Davis finally gets his deep boy.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
But if Wemby plays 66 games, I'll go with you on the Wemby trade.
I mean, I like the AD thing. His responsibilities are going to be so simplified, and he's really going to get to be that just weak side monster that we love to see from him.
And if he wins it, there'll definitely be a narrative that's like, well, he's got Coop on the perimeter, and he's got Lively behind him. But, I mean, it's just, he kind of deserves one, so I feel like the narrative will be there if the Mavs are the number one defense, which I think there's a chance the Mavs are the number one defense by, a lot. Even over the Thunder.
Houston, man. Houston's right there, too. I think they're going to be
I just think that, I don't know, though, because as big and strong as Houston is, the Mavs, the two best rim protectors are on the Mavs of those two teams.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And
but
Coop, if Coop is everything they say he is, and athletically, he's spinning off dudes and dunking in every highlight. I don't know. I think they just are going to crush teams.
The thing is, they just don't have the same level point of attack guard defenders that Houston does. I think it's not as important when you have a back line that they have, but I do think it matters.
Yeah. Okay. What's next? What are you going to go? 6-man coach? I feel like the NBA now, outside of MVP and Rookie of the Year, these other awards feel like it's here's a Halloween basket full of candy. Which one do you want to eat first? And you have 50 options.
Yeah. Do you have a most improved?
Well, if it can't be first overall picks, then I can't go with Ricochet, my guy, my Hawks guy.
I feel like he's in play. Do you
like
want to
Jalen
hear who
Johnson
the betting favorites are?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Who? It's Amen Thompson, right? And Asor Thompson's third.
Amen's the betting favorite. Then we've got Giddey, Mathurin, Denny Avdia, Shaedon Sharp, Matas Buzelis, Asur Thompson, Andrew Nembhard, Nikola Jovic, Derek White, and Reed Shepherd.
All right, I'm going to go with Asor because when I watch Pistons games, I feel like every minute he's out there is a good minute for the Pistons. I feel like he has that same thing Amen has where he can just run at the rim, jump as high as he can, and throw the ball up, and something good happens. And I feel like he just doesn't get as much opportunity as Amen does. I do think Amen is a bit better, but I think Asor is really good and honestly really underutilized by the Pistons. And I think let him get some run, man. He can do this.
My thing with that is even if he deserves it, I don't think he's going to get it because he's just not going to score enough to put himself in there. I ended up going with Benedict Mathurin.
Oh, that's a great pick.
He was I kind of just settled on wanting to give it to a Pacer because I think the Pacers are going to be
decent,
much better than they should be this year because they're a Rick Carlisle team and they just always are better than they should be. I was looking at the numbers for both Nembhard and Mathurin without Halliburton, and actually the Nembhard on-offs with Halliburton off the court are not great.
So I didn't realize this until a couple weeks ago when I started doing my research. I didn't realize how bad the Pacers guys are as shooters and how hot streaky that whole run of the finals was. I kind of wasn't checking in with them enough during the regular season. I didn't realize that was a crazy prolonged hot streak by a lot of their guards.
I couldn't believe. Do you know what he shot from three in the regular season?
29, right?
29%. That's absolutely
that's not good.
Insane. And he shot 46% in the playoffs. So that's why I ended up doing Mathurin. I think Mathurin, he has defensive chops in a way that are really real, and like he has that kind of jitterbug scoring element to his game as well, where like, you know, we could easily look up and it's like the Pacers are the 3rd seed and Benedict Mathurin's averaging 22 points a game and they're just really good. So that's who I ended up going with.
I think it's a great pick. I think that's the perfect pick where the guy could be the exact same player. He might not even improve, but he might just play 30 more minutes and Halliburton's hurt, so he's the number 1 option on a team that needs on-ball creators, and he can be the same guy and win the award. Yeah. I remember like 2 years ago when we went through everyone who was the favorite for the award, and like we went through their shot charts, and it was like, oh, they're shooting the exact same percentage of shots from this area that they did. They're the same guy. They just play 8 more minutes a game.
Yeah, they let them shoot more.
Like last year, I remember the whole Mobley narrative. I was like, well, he's shooting the same field goal percentage from mid-range, from the baseline, from at the rim. Like he hasn't changed as much as people are pretending he has.
Yeah, it's just because, I don't know.
I think the guys are not finished products when they enter the NBA, but I don't feel like people improve as much from their like 3rd year to their 10th year as people think, and I think just the situations around them change a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think Dyson Daniels was like such a great most improved last year, because it was like he really went from like this dude might be out of the NBA in a couple years to he is just might be the defensive player of the year.
I don't know. All right, what else? We got coach of the year. I mean, do we want to pick a coach of the year? Who even won coach of the year last year?
Freaking Bickerstaff, Pistons boy, won last year, much to my chagrin. And my guy, I don't know if you remember this, but I was beating the Mark Daigneault drum last year that he should win coach of the year.
I think I was an Ime guy.
You were an Ime guy.
I think I'm still going to be an Ime guy. I think he's still the most underrated coach in the league.
I am once again going to be a Mark Daigneault guy because, like we've been saying a couple times in this episode, I think the Thunder are going to win 70 games. We've never had a 70-win team not win coach of the year, so it's kind of as simple as that. But
if my boy Ime can get LaMelo Ball to buy into defense midseason, are you going to be an Ime guy?
Are they going to trade for LaMelo Ball?
I mean,
that would be incredible.
They need a guard. They need a guard who can shoot. LaMelo Ball can shoot. He can create. Maybe
how would Ime Udoka?
KD and Ime. I feel like if there was ever a locker room, Steven Adams. If there was ever a locker room to be like, bro, get serious, that Rockets team would be perfect for him.
I think we may have a Malice in the Palace situation though. If LaMelo Ball gets traded to the Rockets and just everyone in their arena is doing the 6'7" thing, I don't think Ime Udoka could deal with that.
I kind of, as like a noted LaMelo like doubter and disbeliever, I kind of love that LaMelo the Rockets could be kind of awesome. Like I feel like that would be the best thing that ever happened to him.
I mean, he answers the playmaking thing. He answers the shooting thing. He's kind of like Fred VanVleet in that,
and he needs a coach that'll bench him if he does a tippy toe step back when Kevin Durant's open.
Yeah, a runner like 50-footer.
Yeah, like he needs a coach who will be like, you're not playing the whole next game, and he'll be like, I thought I was a starter. And he's like, well, I have Amen Thompson who I like, so deal with it.
I think Amen Thompson might also punch out LaMelo Ball if he were to do
the way he's been battling a lot of people lately.
I like that one. Right, we got to write that one down. We're throwing out a lot of great possible trades today. Okay, so last one, 6th man of the year. This one's always a weird one to predict.
All right, I'm going to pick the guy I picked the last 2 years because I thought he should have won it again last year. I'm going to go with Naz Reid.
Yep. Until they trade Rudy Gobert, like, how can you go with anyone else?
I just feel like I don't even understand why he didn't win it last year. It's like he did the same thing as he did the year before. He was awesome again. Like, I know the playoffs don't count. Dude was great against the Lakers. He's great against the Nuggets. I don't know. I just feel like Naz Reid's a winner and a scorer and a rebounder and a vibes guy, and he gets the fan base going. I love Naz Reid.
Truly, MVP is to Jokic as 6th man of the year is to Naz Reid.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's who I wrote down as well. I nod to DeAndre Hunter. I'm just like looking at him from across the bar, just to let him know that I'm here with him.
You don't. Who do you think they're going to start at the 3? Strus?
Yeah, that's who they did last year. It could change if they want to go like mega big, but they were pretty hard line against it last year. Like, I don't think Hunter started at all when Strus was available. Yeah,
well, that's a good point. All right. Well, you have any other crazy? I mean, we threw out a lot of fun trades. I feel like there could. Again, it's tough with the Apin rules to call out a trade, but going back to this, Bucks are not quite a disaster, but they're not good either scenario. I think the Lakers and Knicks are preying on it, or at least the Lakers are, because I know you pitched the Giannis trade for them. I think they got that Miles Turner trade. They've been wanting it for years. If there was ever a year to do it, it's this year.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the Kuminga trade, like, who knows what that's going to end up being, but feels like that's definitely going to happen at some point this season. I'm definitely looking at the Raptors as like a team that could shake it up a lot. Like, I know a lot of their guys are overpaid, but
that's the thing. I just don't know who's looking to trade for Ingram. Like, no one was looking to trade for him before the Raptors time. Quickly, I just feel like people would love if his contract was cut in half.
I'm more imagining like an Andrew Wiggins-esque, like Andrew Wiggins to the Warriors with like an Emmanuel Quickley or an RJ Barrett, like something like that somewhere. Like, I think those guys, although they make a little too much money, could help a little bit for a team.
Can I make a Raptors prediction that Raptors fans... I think Raptors fans hate me because I feel like I'm kind of very down on their team. But I was actually
I've never heard
high
you
on
say
the
a good
Raptors.
thing about the Raptors.
You know what? Because the Raptors have done nothing worth saying good about the entire time we've done this podcast. Guess what? In 2019, I would love that Raptors team. They were awesome.
That's true.
Okay, so, Patrick, we see this a lot in the NFL where teams make a surprise run of the playoffs because they have an easy schedule, and then they maybe win a playoff game like my Giants, and they make a lot of roster mistakes not being able to properly assess where they are. If the East is as bad as everyone says it is and the Raptors are like a 5 seed, is this a team you could see making like a colossal mistake thinking they're way better than they actually are? Because I could totally see that happening where next summer they go all in and it's like, oh, this team was not ready to go all in.
I mean, talk about like the kind of trade that the Bucks need for Giannis. That's the Raptors trade, where it's like they trade their whole pick future and they also have to get up to that number. So it's like they give them a bunch of like workable, the RJ Barrett is in there, Emmanuel Quickley's in there, whatever, and then like a Grady Dick, whatever, Jacoby Walter, whoever's in there. Yeah, I mean, I could see that all in kind of move because they're paying for a great team right now. Why not have a good team for now?
Team. Yeah,
even though it completely mortgages the future. The team that I envision in the East being that team that just like kind of wakes up in a drunken stupor and realizes they're a top 6 seed is your Miami Heat. I just, who's stopping them from being the 6th seed?
So Zach Lowe keeps saying like, oh, the Heat are going to run a new offense this year, which like, cool. Is that going to make Bam be a good offensive player again? I don't know. I feel like Bam benefited a lot from being handoff hub guy.
I mean, hey, what's his name? UCLA guy. Jaime. He wakes up.
Does he remember how to shoot?
He remembers how to shoot?
Sorry.
Jovic is good now. Their first-round pick, Kasparis, is actually good. Like, is that enough to be the 6th seed in the East?
It's probably enough to be a play-in team. I think the Bulls Heat the annual play-in classic is on. Who will it be, a 9-10 or a 7-8? We'll find out this year. My teams, the Bulls and the Heat.
Favorite teams.
My teams.
My gosh.
I just think the Heat are going to trade guys. Sorry, not to cut you off, but real quick,
No.
Crazy trades and a guy who would really benefit the Mavericks, again, if we're talking about teams that need shooters. Tyler Hero, apparently, and the Heat couldn't come to a contract extension agreement, and the Heat said they wanted to play it out. So, I mean, Tyler Hero could be on the market, and if I'm the Mavericks, man, I would love Tyler Hero to slop into that Irving role for the first 20 games or so after.
Rockets,
the first
too?
Rockets, yeah, like Hero would be great on a lot of these teams that need spacing.
Another guy, Drew Holiday on the Blazers, like feels like he should probably be traded at some point.
I think he's going to be a buyout guy.
The Sacramento Kings see, the thing with the buyout is any team in one of the aprons can't pick him up. So that might complicate that. But then the Sacramento Kings entire roster, like what's going on with that?
Yeah, so it's funny because I've done so many 2K rebuilds, and the thing with Levine, he has a player option for $49 million, which is what really screws over any Levine trade, because the assumption is Levine takes that, right? Because Levine's not going to say I'll waive the player option and sign like a 3-year $60 million contract where you pay me $20 a year, which is more than fair for Zach LaVine, because if he just takes the player option and then signs an extension after that or signs a new contract with a new team, he'll make so much more money. So unless Levine's willing to sacrifice financially, he's still dead in the water.
He's like Beal last year. That's like exactly
what it's like
if situation was.
Next year, if Zach LaVine opts into his contract with the Kings, I think Zach LaVine, and he's still good, which I don't see why he won't be. Like, he could be a guy you see get traded for Paul George and assets, maybe, if the Sixers feel like they're close. But he's 1 year away. He's just getting paid too much on that player option next year. Unless he's willing to sacrifice money to win a chip, in which case I think Zach LaVine could really fetch whatever good team has a bad contract and assets to trade for LaVine. That's the move, right? I mean, I don't know who. If I'm a good team, I don't want DeRozan. I'd be interested in LaVine, but I don't know about DeRozan.
Yeah, the thing about DeRozan is he like actually doesn't make like too much money. Like it wouldn't really like saddle you too much to pick up DeRozan, but I just don't know how much he has to give. Sabonis is also like a weird one, like that. You know who could kind of use Sabonis? The Pacers. Wouldn't that be funny?
Oh my God.
I don't know. There's so many. We'll get into all of it throughout the year. Where else do you want to go? What else do you want to hit? Anything?
I guess like what are your like do you just have anything else you want to get off your chest that you think is going to happen? You want to talk about your Suns at all?
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely really excited about the Suns. It's going to be weird. They just, methodology-wise, are going to be so different than any Suns team that we've seen in recent history. They are fully leaning into, like, the Allen Iverson 76ers of, like, they're going to try to be all defense and just have Devin Booker drag them to wins. I don't think they're going to be very good, but I'm very excited to watch them. Rasheer Fleming.
I think this might be the first year I'm higher on the Suns than you are.
Yeah. I think it may be. Like, I think they're going to be frisky for the bottom of the play-in, but I feel like generally that's pretty optimistic for the Suns.
But I just feel like the Suns of anything are going to be able to say we have 48 minutes of big guy on the court between Malawach, Williams, and Richards. You know, so maybe Williams is not as good at defensively as maybe we talk about, or Richards. I mean, there's a reason Charlotte was a disaster defensively, right? And they had both of those guys. So, but I mean, I think Malawach at the least will be a good rim protector as a rookie. Not Lively-esque, but you know, you'll come in, you'll be good. I think Booker is a good offensive player, and I think he got spacing. And I just think in the regular season, if you can protect the rim and you can shoot the three, you win 30 games at minimum.
Vibes are definitely really, really good from everything that I've seen thus far. I'm really excited to see the Brooks Dunn like wing combo. That's going to be really annoying for teams to play against. The reason why I feel like I'm
also,
just like hedging so much is I just don't know what to expect from Jalen Green. He didn't play in the preseason. He's going to miss at least the first 2 or 3 games to start the season. And I'm a little scarred from the Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant. Like, both of those guys are, for all intents and purposes, shooting guards that aren't like creators. And that's
Patrick,
Green.
What if you trade Jalen Green to the Kings for Zach LaVine and just eat that extra year and maybe get something alongside Zach LaVine and let the Kings get a young guy to do something with?
Hey, I wouldn't hate it. Like, I think Kuminga could be in our future still. Like, I think that's a real possibility. That would be, I don't know. He's not perfect, but he's a wing-sized player. It could really need a change in scenery. But yeah, I mean, like, could I see them being better than the Jazz, the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, the Grizzlies, the Kings? Like, yeah, I could see them being better than all of those teams. Will they?
You could see them being worse than a couple of them. But
yeah,
definitely better than the Jazz. That was disrespectful to your Suns.
No, I definitely could see that. I expect them to be better than the Jazz. But
why are the Jazz even being mentioned among those teams? The poor Jazz.
And then there's going to be one team that everybody expects to be good that isn't. That's just how it always goes. So who knows? Hey, I was going to say, we haven't said anything about the Clippers.
Yeah, dude, they should go to jail.
They're just so gross. They're so, like, I don't know. I don't mean this in any derogatory way, because you do 2K rebuilds all the time, but they are so, like, middle schooler 2K rebuild. Like, come on, like, I just got Bradley Beal on a buyout, and I don't know. They give me the ick.
Yeah, I don't like them. I mean, I kind of was down on them. I was shocked at how good they were last year. I think I picked them to miss the playoffs entirely. But I still just don't believe in them at all. Like, I don't believe in them. I don't understand it. I feel like this whole scandal, even if it turns out they are innocent, like, it's just kind of a wake-up call. Like, no one's taking you guys serious anymore. Like, you got to blow it up. I don't know.
Nah, man. Eat the rich. Take their next 9 first-round picks. Cut Kawhi mid-season. Just at the trade deadline, cut him. He's just got to sign with somebody else.
I think they're guilty, and I'm in total favor of a huge penalty, and I think Kawhi should be suspended if that's what they find. Like,
I hate the take, who cares? And
I care. No, don't get me wrong. I don't care. No, I mean, I care. I
know you do. But you've seen that, right? It's like, oh, come on. They're in LA. They shouldn't be they shouldn't go hard on them, make them bad. It's like, well, you know, they
guys,
shouldn't have
Jeannie
done
Buss
that.
Didn't know what a pick swap was, and she knew better than that.
Exactly.
Did you see that?
No. What?
You didn't?
She didn't know what a pick swap was?
God, what was the trade? When the Lakers did some trade in 2020 or 2021 with the Pelicans. Oh, the Anthony Davis trade. When they were negotiating the Anthony Davis trade with the Pelicans, Griff, who's been fired, revealed in an interview that Pelinka was like, hey, so we're good, but the problem is Jeannie doesn't know what a pick swap is. And so that apparently held up the negotiations, was Jeannie not understanding, like, the mechanics of pick swaps, and Pelinka's just like...
I wish Matt Ishbia didn't know what a pick swap was.
Yeah.
He's a little bit too knowledgeable about pick swaps.
So this is the biggest X factor for the Lakers, more than like LeBron, Scatia, Skinny Luka. It's do we get the Nico Harrison or the Sam Presti Pelinka year?
Yeah.
Because so far Pelinka has alternated between being like the best GM in the NBA and the worst GM in the NBA. Like, he is such an enigma. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's either doing a superstar trade or he's doing a Russell Westbrook superstar trade.
Yeah, like, he's either taking the roster or like, that's like Anthony Davis trade, championship. Like, retool the roster, great team. Trade for Westbrook, terrible. Like, trade Westbrook for a team that goes all the way to Western Conference Finals. Like, great. It's like, dude, who is this guy?
Last question. And then I feel like we'll just call it a day. We'll pick up all the hot streak shooting. We'll pick up everything in later episodes. Is this LeBron's last season? What's your LeBron vibes? Let's just talk a little bit about him.
So all last year, my vibe was this is the last year. I 100% think we're getting a retirement tour, so I think it's going to be next year.
Right? Yeah, it feels like there's some kind of unsettled business, but also, like, it feels like unbelievable that LeBron would be on the Lakers again next season, to me, at least.
I guess I haven't bought into the drama as much as you. I feel like he's going to be on the Lakers next year. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he probably is. Just, I don't know. Is he gonna take like a vet min, or is he gonna take?
The thing is, all the big free agents are not this upcoming summer. It's the summer after. That's the Jokic, the Giannis. Durant was going to be a free agent this summer. He's off the table now. I don't know. I don't know who the big fish is that they need to save cap space for. So I don't see why they can't re-up LeBron on a 1 year. I mean, if LeBron is All NBA third team again this year, like last year he was what, second team?
Third team. I
think he was second team. I think he was second team because of that stretch where he was playing great defense. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know how long you believe it, but if he keeps doing it, if he keeps making All NBA teams, like, I don't see why you won't sign him if there's nothing better to spend the money on.
I was looking, and we don't know the extent of the sciatica. I did a ChatGPT deep dive on like NBA players that have had sciatica. It's like terrifying, to be honest. It's like 1990s Larry Bird, like 2015 Lakers Steve Nash, or whatever year that was. It's like Ben Simmons in 2020. Like, they're all horrifying examples.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I guess I could see it. I mean, the only way I don't see him on the Lakers, and I just don't see this trade, is that one I kind of floated earlier, which is like Cleveland honestly makes sense for them to trade Jared Allen. It makes a lot of sense for the Lakers to acquire Jared Allen. I think if any player can solve Jared Allen's playoff woes, it's Luka. And I think, again, like moving Ayton to being the bench big kind of doesn't solve all of Ayton's problems, but if you're kind of relegating to the minutes where he's not playing against the other team's superstar, I feel like that just helps him out, helps Luka out to have Jared Allen, helps LeBron out to play on the Cavs. That team is perfectly suited for him.
Yeah, I don't know. But we will find out throughout this season.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us. Enjoy opening night tonight, I guess, or whenever you listen to this. Anything else?
I gotta say, one more thing. This is the year of the skinny Luka, skinny Zion, skinny Embiid. I'm really happy that Zion slimmed down. Zion was like totally one of my favorite players. I'm so sad the way his career is gone, and I'm really excited to watch Zion. Like I'm super excited to see him this year.
Yeah, I am too. Shout out to all the skinny legends out there.
Zion Booker coming soon.
Yeah. All right, everyone.
Peace.